Like how you dance, the way you fit in the pants. Greetings, Aries, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, or Jupiter, or any of these aspects in Vedic sidereal, which is what I personally like to follow. Just a little reminder here that the Western astrology was created from the man-made calendar. It wasn't actually the correct aspect of the birth times, whereas the Vedic sidereal birth chart is actually the correct birth time where the planets actually were when you were born, not in regards to the man-made calendar. So I've also heard it described that the Western chart, the tropical chart, is kind of like the vehicle, like the Chevy or the Ford, and then the Vedic sidereal is the engine inside and its parts. So, you know, you kind of have impressioned upon you at birth what your Western tropical sign is, and then whenever you learn, you know, where the planets really were, not according to the man-made calendar, but according to where they actually were, then you find out, you know, what your real signs are. So I very much want to inspire you guys to check out what your Vedic sidereal birth signs are and aspects are, because that is the truth of what you are. All that to say, Aries, I pulled a couple cards for you guys just for the sake of time, and then I'll be doing the tarot live for you guys right here. So right off the bat, we have Shake Your Tail Feather by Nelly playing. So I think some of you guys are definitely feeling you know, just feeling yourself. Some of my Aries are definitely getting, it's your month, it's your birth month. In Vedic sidereal, it's finally just now actually Aries time. It actually starts at the end of April. So we have for you, Aries, infinite power. You are about to receive a magnificent vibration at this time. I want you to visualize a wheel of light around you, a circle of this light, and imagine this light showering upon you as you make your way through this next time period that you are entering, thinking of this time period as the next chapter in your book. From this creative space, as you become more aware of its benefits, you will be able to use all of your productive self, Aries. Love is filling your being, and you are now basking in the glow of the light of this love. Fully enjoy this part of your journey, Aries. It is well earned, and this will balance out some of the challenging times of your past. So Aries, you're being asked to really sink into and melt into your creative juices and your love juices, and to really expand and create from that space. From this space, you can move forward into fully manifesting all of your heart's deepest desires, Aries. Seek to remember this feeling and this time period so that you may draw upon it whenever challenges present themselves to you in the future. Trust that this joy will return to you many times in your journey. And then next we have caution. Of course, we always need the caution, right? You always have to have that. Perhaps not all the facts are being revealed to you at this time, Aries. You see most of the picture, however, you should proceed with caution. Stay close as each piece is revealed along the way. Only when you have the full picture can you determine what will be right for you in this next juncture. Allow yourself to slow your pace, Aries, and even stop if you need to. Allow everything to reveal itself through time. There may be a deception or an omission that will result in a misunderstanding and dissension down the road. For now, you're being asked to stop. Look clearly, watch each step, and proceed with an even greater caution. Other opportunities are on the horizon for you, Aries, so there's no need to rush. Trust yourself, be patient, and watch things unfold. I just ate dinner, so excuse the burps. Next we have compatibility. And what I love about this card is this is all about really understanding that compatibility is about finding someone who actually coincides and aligns with everything that you're doing on your life mission, Aries. And so for someone who is not fully tapped into their life mission yet, who's still in that state of enjoying life, which, you know, it's not to say this is wrong, but as we go through life, you guys, we must journey through our rites of passages and through our initiations. And this card is all about the initiation. Notice, you know, this bird is flying this way and this bird is flying this way. And even though there is a bond between them, her bird is ascending, it's going up. She's going towards this spiral, the spiral of life. She is seeking something higher. And even though he's up in the clouds, he is coasting. And so you have to recognize, Aries, whenever you're at a point in your relationships where things are just sort of coasting and the compatibility is no longer there, or understand, you know, if there's someone that you just really had a strong bond with, a strong, you know, whether it was a sensual connection or it was a strong friendship or a strong mental, emotional, spiritual connection, you need to understand, Aries, that the more that you align and refine, chisel away at your diamond, you know, you think of yourself like a sculpture, the more that you refine the sculpture of what you are, then you might realize when you're doing the sculpture, oh, you know, I don't have a bow and arrow in my hands, I have a paintbrush in my hands, and I'm painting something. You know, I'm becoming something new. And so Aries, as you're constantly becoming and unbecoming and then re-becoming, then your compatibility with different people in your life will change. And now we have Empire Ants by Gorillas, and the words are, let's see here. I want to read this. Oh, joys arise, the sun has come again to hold you, sailing out the doldrums of the week, the polyphonic prairies here, it's all around you, it's all around you. And if the whole world is crashing down, fall through space, out of mind again, where the emptiness we leave behind on warm air rising blows all the shadows far away. The falling alcohol empire is here to hold you, rolling out and haunted till it sleeps, little memories marching on, your little feet working the machine. Will it spin? Will it soar? My little dream working the machine. Soon like a wave, the past will fall, and closing in on you, they're going on. Little memories, your little feet working the machine. Will it spin or will it soar? Will it spin or will it soar? Soon like a wave, the past will fall, and closing in on you, they're going on. All right, so Aries, with this compatibility card, again, it's just so important that we do that inner work and we really decide what it is we're doing on our life mission. Is the person that we want to be in intimacy with, are they really compatible with our life mission? Are they really in full support? Or, you know, is there a time when, you know, we're now crossing paths and it's time to say la vie, it's time to release with love, and it's time to allow the universe to bring in a new partner who may actually do this work with you, who may actually, you know, really share in your dreams. So it's all about understanding that whenever we have a connection that we feel is a missed connection, understand that perhaps it was not a missed connection in any way, shape, or form. It was actually a divine intervention to allow you to release, you know, whatever past relationship. Whenever people have rebounds, per se, I don't really like that word, because I do believe there's 8 billion people in the world, so every person you come across is absolutely a soulmate on such a level, and that's so important to really recognize. And when we can have compassion for this and understand that people come into our lives for seasons and reasons, then we can really capitalize on our experience with them and allow ourselves to have full compassion for whatever we share with that person. And rather than attachment, and rather than trying to change aspects of ourselves to keep the attraction going, or asking them to change aspects of themselves so we can keep the attraction and the connection going, you know, it's better to just understand that our planes, our birds, are flying in opposite directions at a certain point, and that the compatibility is no longer there. Whenever you get really, really clear with yourself, then you understand this. I think of the fact that dance is something that means a lot to me, and at the same time, I've never dated a dancer, and it's so silly to me because as I've evolved to this point in my life, I'm realizing that I could absolutely never marry someone who wasn't a dancer. I couldn't. Like, the more that I refine and get really clear on what I need, I absolutely must be with someone who's either a musician or a dancer. I just have to. And that is my deepest heart's calling. I know that in my heart and soul. And so when I look back on all of my previous relationships, even though I'm so grateful for them, and there were some that there were just such immense connections that I just never thought I would get over. I never thought that I'd really be able to go beyond my love for that person. I never thought I'd be able to release them. The more that I tapped into my purpose and my calling and what my heart is most led to and what means the most in my heart, the more I realized, oh, like all of those men taught me to access new emotional places in my heart that showed me what's most important to me. And what's most important to me is something that none of these men even prioritized in their life. And I can't be with someone who isn't a dance partner for me. So just compatibility is so key at this point. I know I went on for a while on that card. I just feel like so many people get caught up on people and get caught up in relationships that are just simply not compatible on like a long-term trajectory. Like when you really think like, okay, what do you want to do with your life? What does that person want to do with their life? Sure, you can fight to make it work, but why do that when there's someone out there that's literally designed who wants to do the exact same mission that you want to do, and they're designed for you, and they're designed to succeed in that mission. So Aries, you have the rune of Isa, which is the rune of 11, which we know, 1111, this is all about that divine union, soulmate, twin flame, whatever card. Now Isa is inside this ice cap. This is all about the ice around her. This is the moment of pausing, of freezing. It's the moment of contraction, that there's a necessity to contract within yourself, to take deeper rest, to pause, to allow yourself to fully integrate everything from the past chapters in your life before you take any steps. This is a sacred moment. Remember that when the lake freezes over, it may appear like the water isn't flowing, but the water is indeed still flowing, Aries. This is all about the primal ice. This is all about inner meditation, having deeper self-awareness. This can be coming off to others like a spiritual coldness, isolation and paralysis. This is all about concentrating deeper into your self-identity, having self-preservation. It can be harsh realities. It can be a bit about self-centeredness and refocusing your will. It can also be about holding on to unwanted dynamic forces or self-defense. So it can be kind of like a Four of Pentacles, holding on and just kind of like it said, self-preservation, kind of protecting yourself, this protection mechanism. But it's also because you're like in this ice incubator. And before the ice melts, there are certain things that need to solidify, that need to harden a little bit more. This is where you need to learn your shadow self slightly deeper, understanding that only 10% of the iceberg is above the water, and 90% of the iceberg is beneath the water, and that 90% beneath the water is what can gut the ship, Aries. So you do not want to have your ship gutted, Aries, and that's why it's so important that you have time away from people, away from everything else, away from distractions, traction, togetherness, distraction, the opposite of togetherness. So distraction, Netflix, TV, constantly on your phone, talking to people, constantly needing to be with other people, constantly asking people. All the answers you need are within, Aries. Aries, this is about taking a time of deep rest and recharge. This is the cat's eye, the symbol of the moon, or the alder tree. Instead of choosing spiritual substance, this can be having a tendency to go for the trap because of the glitter that's sprinkled on the trap, which may come in a form of a, beautiful damsel or handsome knight that is coming to sweep you off your feet, Aries, but in reality, they're distracting you from that soul mission. And then, you continue on down the line and realize, oh, we're not as compatible as I thought we were. And I need to have caution. Caution, perhaps not everything's being revealed to you at this time. This is also about restrictions in travel, which we know is very prevalent. So there may be someone or something that you long to connect with, but because of the restriction in travel, you're going for things that are closer, that are nearby. And the universe is saying, hold out for the things, because although there's the restriction on travel, it won't always be that way. And this is a time to take things slowly and to build a relationship in a slower, more authentic way. So don't go for what's easy and what's convenient, Aries, because this is saying that it's time to recharge and fully integrate. This invites more determination of the self. This invites you to reaffirm what your life goals are, what you're really here for on the planet, what you really desire long term. And what you desire long term is going to require a different partner than a partner that may just, suit you for the next year. Do you want a partner that's only going to support you a little bit right now? Or do you want a partner that's really going to expand and capitalize on your abundance and your bigger life goals and dreams and really push you to make those dreams happen into fruition, and maybe even be the partner who makes those dreams happen right there at your side, Aries? This is all about feminine contemplation, having new hope. This is about self-mastery, correcting any nervous and impatient temperaments. This is all about calming any frenzy. This is about utilizing wasted energy and recharging it and putting it into an ethereal battery that you plug into whenever the time is right, whenever it's ripe, when the ice has melted. This is all about storing energy within you. So again, contracting, pulling energy within so that you may have more potency and effectiveness, more willpower and concentration when the time is right to press that button, Aries. I like this for you. So again, it's all about kind of pulling back on the bow and arrow before you go right to the target. So let's see what the tarot says. I already shuffled. Again, I'm trying to just be a little more efficient with videos. I just started a men's coaching program. I just sent out the programs for all of my men at the beginning of this week. It is a 3-week program. The men for week 1, their assignments are 20 pages long for just week 1. Each program is completely individualized. If you're a guy, or if you know a guy who's interested and checking out the program, hopping on a call, then let me know. All right, got some good things right here. Right off the bat, we already have the Emperor and the Queen of Wands. Aries, always showing up in your own readings. We have the Five of Wands, the Eight of Wands, the Knight of Coins, the Judgment Day. Let's see what the path says, Aries. Three of Cups, actually, the Devil. Dealing with a Capricorn. He's in reverse, so if my Aries are dealing with a Capricorn, you told them off. You told them off, and they see that they, you know, frankly, they don't hold the weight like they used to in your life. Why? Because you gave them Judgment. You stood up as the Emperor. You also gave them the Queen of Wands, and your current energy is Five of Wands in reverse. Five of Wands being that challenging energy, that tit for tat, that bickering whenever someone like messages you and they're like, hey, and you're like, hey, and then they like pull you and they're like, so, or okay, here's an example. Someone comments and they're like, oh, this is such a, you know, pretty photo, da-da-da-da-da. Where is it taken? And you respond, you're like, it was taken here. And then they're like, oh, cool. You know, where else have you traveled to? And, you know, it's like ways where people try and like sink in and like pull their way into your field, Aries. They try and like crawl. And Aries, you're not having any of it. You're not having it. Five of Wands in reverse. You're like, I don't have time for this. And you're doing it in a respectful way, but you're like putting your foot down, Aries. You're not taking their crap. Now, you also don't want any fleeting connections. You don't want a wham bam, thank you ma'am. You don't want a hookup. Ace of Wands in reverse is your final outcome because you don't want that. You want Ten of Cups. You want total fulfillment. You want husband and wife, home with the dog, kids by the fireplace, and your future energy is the Knight of Coins. You're moving into this slowly. The Knight of Coins is the only knight of all the knights who actually becomes the king, who's guaranteed to become the king, Aries, because he's the knight who actually lays the proper foundation. Now, laying the proper foundation coincides perfectly with Isa right here, because you have to have this moment of really deep rooting within yourself, Aries, really getting to the root of things, really having that willpower, connecting to yourself, self-mastery, knowing thyself, learning your ego, diving into your shadow, diving into all those subconscious waters, diving into the 90% of the iceberg so you don't get gutted by the ship, gutted by this devil energy who just wants to give you something passionate and fleeting and it feels so good, but it's not gonna last. And you're not about that life. You want the Ten of Cups. You're going to come off mysterious like the moon. You have this watery, Piscean, nurturing, mysterious energy to you, and it's very magnetic. It's very magnetic. Something could be coming in around the moon, but you're waiting for the star. It could be someone who has a following, could be someone who you just see a lot of potential in them. You see a lot of potential in their relationship. Aries, you definitely have your eyes on someone. I know I've kind of gone around a roundabout way, so we'll go through all of these in proper order. So right off the bat, the Aries I'm reading for is Five of Wands in reverse. You don't want to fight anymore, you don't want challenges anymore. You're realizing that it's not worth your time to be in a relationship where you have to fight for your right, where you have to stick up for yourself. We notice in the Five of Wands, he is constantly battering against himself, and he's doing this in the mirror of other people. So he's attracting people in his life, you know, friends who aren't really friends, people who don't want him to show up, or her, to show up in his or her fullness. You attract people who, when you show up in your fullness, people make you wrong for it. They shame you for it. They say it's too this, it's too that, it's inappropriate. It's, you know, not correct for love. It's, you know, they try and put you in a box, Aries. They're trying to confine you. The fives are all about the challenges, but how are you going to break away from it? You stuck through it and you fought for so long, and then at some point, Aries, you released it. You gained your empowerment of the Queen of Wands. You stepped up into your magic. You stepped up into your wizardry for the men. You stepped up into that magician energy, and you realized, oh, like, who I am is enough, and who I am is worthy, and my aspirations in love, my aspirations in life are okay, they are healthy, and the right partnership will only support these things. And so Aries, once you realize this, you dropped the fight with yourself, you dropped the fight with the other people, and because of that, those friends, those relationships, those lovers can no longer hold or stand your frequency, because your truth is so strong, Aries, your conviction, your courage, your willpower, who you are is so powerful that these Five of Wands energy melt walked away. You gave them, subconsciously, Judgment Day. And what's crowning you? The Emperor. So Aries, you just came through in this really beautiful, strong, powerful way where you're just showing up in your full authentic truth. You're being the Emperor. You have the courage of your conviction. You're walking the walk. You're talking the talk. You're exuding it, and people feel it. And the people who feel it are, you know, they're going to be bothered by it. You got the Devil here. You got the Five of Wands. Those are like the two cards of like people trying to pull at you. But guess what, Aries? They're both in reverse, because Five of Wands in reverse, you're not dealing with it anymore. You're not buying the bullshit. You're not hooking in. You're not letting their claws sink into you. The Devil we see over here in your environment, he has these little puppeteer strings hanging from his hand right here. And the Fool, which is also known as the Aries card, is shielding himself. But it's in reverse. So upright, it's like you just weren't quite in your power enough, Aries. You weren't fully buying into your truth. You knew certain things about yourself, but you weren't fully embodying them, and because of it, this Devil energy and this Five of Wands energy were able to get at you. But just as the Carl Jung quote says, it is said, no tree may reach heaven whose roots do not stretch down to hell. And Aries, you've gone there, you went there, you dated the Devil, you went to that place, and you realized in that where your real power is, and you stood up in your real power. And what's so beautiful with the Emperor and the Queen of Wands here is you're embodying, you're balanced, your masculine and your feminine is balanced, your poles are balanced, and because of that, you receive subconscious judgment, and so you're no longer having, you know, like there was a lot of Nine of Swords energy in Aries readings before, a lot of like the Nightmare card, a lot of longing, missing, you know, fear of abandonment, just wondering late nights, still dreaming about the ex, whoever they were, and you've dropped that. You've had divine judgment come through to you, and you realize, oh my gosh, like, who I am is freaking awesome. Who I am, I'm a freaking magician. Like, I'm an emperor, and it's not even from an egoic space. It's just that I see what I'm supposed to be here for, and I'm getting on with my path. I must get on with my path. I must get on with that. And for me to carry along with these things, I cannot allow the hooks of the Five of Wands. I cannot allow the distractions, the dis-togetherness, the opposite of togetherness of the Devil to pull me away from my life mission. So in your past energy, Eight of Wands, there's definite communication with this person. You gave them your peace of mind. They probably shared some of theirs. It was probably this Five of Wands energy, but it's in reverse now because your future energy is the Knight of Pentacles. So you communicated swiftly and quickly, which lest me remind you that the Eight of Wands is usually the only card that doesn't actually have any person in it. It's the most spiritual card per se. It's kind of like getting divine intervention. We do see a centaur on this card, you know, the ethereal of the horse and man joining, which is all about partnership, trust, union. So you spoke up. You said, no, you know what? If you really cared about me, you wouldn't judge me. You wouldn't point fingers at me. You wouldn't slut shame me, or you wouldn't, you know, talk down to me. You wouldn't disempower me. You would be all for my empowerment. You would be all for me showing up in my fullness of my sensuality, my fullness of my intellect, my fullness of my spiritual beliefs and convictions, the fullness of my body, mind, and spirit, and me actually presenting these exteriorly to the world and showing up in the fullness of them. You wouldn't control them, because love is appreciation, not possession. And Aries, once you got that and you really understood that, you had that judgment come in. It was like, oh, and it's just like raining down in on you, and you're like, I get it now. Like, my partner would never shame me for my most deepest desires and my deepest expressions. They would only love that about me. They would only want that to flourish, and they'd only want me to express that even more. They would only want me to dive in even more to what I care about. And so because of that, Aries, you're embarking on the slowest journey of them all. Slow and steady wins the race, Aries. You're going through the Knight of Pentacles. You're going through, and we see all the green around here. So Aries, definitely you're starting in some new business and adventure, or if you're in a business right now, you're slowly climbing up the ladder in your business. This is a great card for it. We see all the green showing you're really pulling into your heart and you're honoring your heart's truth. We see with the Devil and the Five of Wands, this is all about really healing the lower chakras, which are all about survival, trust, that survival mechanism of just clinging, all of our trust issues, the sex center. It's all about primal urges. It's not spiritual, it's not anchored into the heart at all. And so you had to really dive into these shadows, and from those shadows, you were able to pull up. See, the men are rising up into, they're receiving the enlightenment. So Aries, subconsciously, the enlightenment is coming in, and that's allowing you to step forth with what's crowning you, is really shining out like the Emperor energy, that you're calm, cool, and collected in who you are. You are unquittable. No one with you, Aries, because you know who you are and you embody it both in the masculine and the feminine. The Queen of Wands, she's very comfortable in her sensuality. She trusts herself, she expresses herself, she knows her magic, she honors her ancestors and the magic of her ancestors, and she wears that and she utilizes it. You know, the Emperor can be kind of dry, but the Queen of Wands is the opposite of anything dry. And so you have both poles, you have both energies balanced. You know how to deal with business, you know how to deal with your career, you know how to deal with your environment, your community, you know how to deal with yourself, you know how to keep yourself happy, you know how to stay, you know, very magnetic and very appeasing, so you're taking care of yourself, you're feeling good, and because of that, you're not in any rush. You're building nice and slow, you're creating a solid foundation, and you're going forth on this path. Now, on your path, you have the Three of Cups in reverse. I'm not seeing this as a joinment, I'm seeing this as third party, Three of Cups, three love cups. You don't want no 3 cups, you want 2 cups. You understand that the divine union is between two. You don't want no more than just you and the other person. Maybe this devil was kind of like a Don Juan, and he kind of wanted, you know, not to fully commit because he wants to just spread the seed everywhere. Or maybe she wants to spread the seed everywhere. For my Aries men who are dealing with a girl who, you know, can't commit to one person. So whoever you're dealing with, non-committal, they're all over the place. They don't really know what they want. They're diving into their addictions, their glutton, their greed, they're just, you know, self-serving. They're not about working with others. And Aries, your hopes, dreams, and fears is that 6 of Pentacles. And that 6 of Pentacles is precisely what the Knight of Pentacles is going to utilize to become the king, because he understands the only way to rise up and to be the king is to serve his community. He's serving his community. And Aries, that's what you're doing. And what you're doing, you're showing up of service to others, not service to self, like the environment, whoever it is that you're dealing with, very possessive, controlling, manipulating. You know, he's manipulating like the puppet strings. He has his own mission. He has his own things. And because of that, you know, he probably had some other suitors. He probably had some other people. And you caught him. Maybe you did catch him. If you didn't catch him, I promise you, he was at least texting other people, because 3 of Cups is right here. It's telling you, it's in reverse. It's saying you are not going to put up with that third 3 Cups energy. You don't want to utilize, or you don't want to entertain anyone who is going to have more than just you, Aries. You see your worth. You see what you stand for. You see the emperor that you are, empire that you're trying to create, because you're standing in your emperor throne. You know what you want to build, because you want to build something to create a better world, and you want a partner who's going to do that with you. You know, in this Knight of Pentacles, there's 2 horses in that field. In the 6 of Pentacles, it is all about coming together. It's harmony. It's working with someone else. It's about give and take. This is about reciprocity. The 6 of Pentacles is all about reciprocity, and this is what you're dreaming of. This is what you're hoping for, Aries. You understand in your next relationship, it cannot be something where you're giving and giving and giving, and the other person is just manipulating and taking and pulling the puppet strings and making it this way where you're just at war at yourself, where you're questioning yourself, because the more you question yourself, the less that you're able to rise as the emperor you are, Aries. And so you're stepping into this place where you're saying no more of that. I'm not doing that anymore. I'm creating a solid, tangible earth foundation with the Knight of Pentacles. I'm doing so through the 6 of Pentacles energy, through reciprocity, through giving to my environment, through being of service to those in my environment. So Aries, whatever you're doing right now is for the greater good of all humanity. And because of that, your final outcome is Ace of Wands in reverse. You are not going to accept anyone who's in for just a good time. You want someone who is going to give you the 10 of Cups, who's going to give you the whole happy home, who's going to actually be able to give you their heart. The devil can't give you his heart because he's not even in touch with his own heart. And it could be very well a Capricorn energy, or someone who has Capricorn prominently in their chart. You could be moving towards an Aquarian or a Pisces with the moon and the star here, but I really feel with the moon and the star, this is like its own divine pairing. You know, we have the moon and the star. I love that. You want a 10 of Cups. You could be the star, you could be the moon. They could be the star, they could be the moon. Or together, you guys could be both. And I'm getting chills right now reading this. I feel like Aries, whatever is in store for you in your future, it's going to be a beautiful union, because you are anchored to the fact that you are only going to receive the 10 of Cups. And you're only going to receive the 10 of Cups because you're going to have an equal give and take. You know what you bring to the table. You know what you deliver. You know how you give. You know how you receive. And because you've now healed those aspects, you're able to receive, you're able to give, then you're able to really create this kind of relationship, and you have the maturity that it takes to have equal reciprocity in a relationship, to be able to communicate equal reciprocity, and to be able to show up then and shine like the star that you are, or to allow this other person to shine like the star that they are, and to not have any jealousy or any envy. You know, you've worked through all of those shadow energies and emotions through your last relationship, that devil energy. So it's important, if you guys have any resentment, I always like to write letters to my exes, and you don't ever have to give them to them. Just write a letter in your journal, give them compassion, write all of the things that you're grateful for, write about the best times that you had with them, no matter how difficult it is. It's so important, you guys, that we release people from a place of love, that we're always releasing with love, and that we send them on their way with love, no matter what feelings they have towards you. Just keep emanating and holding the space of love towards them. And that is what is going to allow you to really pull in this relationship with this 10 of cups, this 6 of pentacles reciprocity, bringing the moon and the star together. So I love you guys, and I'll see you shortly for your May readings.